guys, it's Bailey. Welcome back to the channel and thanks for tuning in to a favorites video. It is that time again. November has flown by and so it's time to talk about my favorite products that I've been using over the month, which actually is very similar to the products I was loving in October. So rather than walk you through all of those again, I figured I would actually do my makeup using these products because I mentioned some tips, tricks, the way I like to use these products in the last monthly favorites, but I know I always learn best when I actually see it done. Plus there are some other things that I want to show and talk about to spice things up and keep it different. So let's get started. First, let's talk about some skincare. So I've been raving for the longest time about my Drunk Elephant C Firm a Day Serum and my Framboos Glycolic Night Serum. Those are still mainstays. I pick them up every chance I get whenever there's like a Sephora sale, any chance I can get a discount because I use them every day. However, I'm not sure if it's because of the cooling, drier weather outside or my skin aging, getting a little bit more mature and drying out, but normally I don't struggle with this as someone with combination skin, but my skin has been dry. I've just needed something a little bit more hydrating than that, especially in my eye area. That First Aid Beauty just wasn't really cutting it, so I finally decided to try some of Charlotte Tilbury's skincare. I've been eyeing it for a while, but always felt like it was a little bit too rich, too much for my skin. What better time to try than now? I haven't had it for too long. I wouldn't say it's a favorite. It's just more of an update as to the skincare that I'm using, but I got the Magic Eye Rescue, and this I really have noticed like the fine lines in this area are gone. So I do feel like that is doing a good job, at least in the immediate time that I've been using it. And then I also got both the night and day cream. This is the Magic Night Cream, and this is just the Magic Cream Treat and Transform Moisturizer. So I use this in the morning. And I was a little hesitant at first because they are both very rich creams, but my skin just soaked it up. Not immediately. I mean, it takes a little bit of time, but you know, I don't feel it's none too rich. It isn't breaking my skin out. It isn't making me excessively oily in my T-zone. And I have just felt like my skin has this glow about it ever since starting to use these. Again, I've had them for almost a week at this point, so would not categorize them in favorites. I need to use them for much, much longer. But in terms of an immediate difference in my skin, I feel like I have seen it with these. Now on to foundation. I am still loving my Flower Beauty Light Illusion Foundation. This has been my go-to for months now, and my shade is Warm Beige L4. And I mentioned this in last month's video, but figured obviously I would walk through it here. I just use one pump on the back of my hand, and this is the Real Techniques Ultimate Buffing Brush. I just made a video about some of the holiday sets they came out with where this is inside. It's just a teensy bit bigger than the regular buffing brush. And so I just take a little bit of that on my brush and start in the center of my face and work and buff it out, because I find that most of the coverage I need is right, you know, kind of down the center of my face and outwards. So to keep from getting things too much, too cakey, looking too overdone, I'll start there and then start buffing from there. And I have just found that one pump is more than enough. I mean, some days I find my skin looking even too much from that, in addition to the concealer that I like to use, which I'll get to in a minute. So there that is, one pump buffed and blended throughout my face, and I've just been, I mean, the glow it gives is gorgeous. I haven't even been using highlighter this month because I've been so loving the way this just gives my skin that lit from within look. And you could definitely build the coverage. I mean, it evens out my skin tone, I feel like, without covering up too much of the features, the natural features that I don't mind having visible. But you could totally, if you had a little bit more hyperpigmentation, build this up, still get the same glowy coverage. I've just been liking more of a natural coverage with this. So then I go with my concealer, which is the Born This Way Multi-Use Sculpting Concealer. Mine is in the shade Light Beige. And I just take a tiny little bit of this, like you get a ton in this brush because it's a doe foot with a little well in there to collect product. So I wipe that excess off and I just dot a little bit here in my under eye area, on my chin, center of my forehead, and then maybe if I have blemishes elsewhere on my face, I will go in and do that, but for the most part, I don't. I've taken to using my brush in my under eye area. I used to really like my fingers, but now just for the sake of simplicity and speed, I will just go in with my brush and pat that in. But sometimes when I'm not in a rush, I will use my fingers just because I find it helps the product blend so much more easily in my under eye area. And because this concealer is so full coverage, I feel like just that little bit in those strategic areas makes it look like I'm wearing a lot more makeup makeup than I actually am. Now, depending on how warm it is outside, because it's fluctuated, in Texas it's fluctuated everywhere from like the 30s all the way back up to the 70s for the past few days. Sometimes if I need it, I will set it with the Laura Mercier Translucent Loose Setting Powder Glow version, but today it's chillier. I don't think I'm going to need it to set my face, so I'm just going to go without. Then the only other thing I use on the rest of my face has been the Charlotte Tilbury Film Star Bronze and Blush Glow, which I've hit pan on. You know that feeling? It's just like such satisfaction when you hit pan on a product. Oh, I'm so excited. I'm so happy, but I'm also kind of bummed because I love the fact that this is a duo, that you have both 2 in 1, and just so slim the profile is when you pack and go. And now I don't know if you can buy these bronzers individually to pop back in here, which is kind of, I'll figure it out, but I'm still going to relish the satisfaction of having hit pan on a product. So with this bronzer, I just sweep it around the perimeter of my face, really broad motions. I'm not super particular with where I put this. I just wanted to add a little bit more dimension and depth to the shape of my face, so I don't look completely flat, which I think the foundation helps with. And having that natural highlight and glow, it naturally brings the higher points of my face forward, but this just makes that drama, that contrast a little bit more dramatic. And then I just pop the blush right, starting at the apples of my cheeks and then working it the way back, kind of where I applied that bronzer, but focusing mostly on the apples of my cheeks. And like I said, this is really pigmented, so some days I actually do overdo it, and if that's the case, I just go back in with my foundation brush and take whatever excess product is left on that and pat and blend it out to help tone it down. Like, kind of like today. Like, what is happening here? For my brows, I have been using another really old favorite. This is the CoverGirl Ultra Fine Brow Pencil in the shade Rich Brown. And I just love it because it is so thin. It looks like you're drawing in natural individual hairs rather than, you know, some, if it's like a thicker pencil, I find my brows just, they look a little blocky. You know, if the strokes get too wide, too thick, it just doesn't look quite as natural and can easily become overwhelming, I think. So this just helps me slowly but steadily build up my brow shape, helps define them, and helps fill them in. Okay, now for the eyes. November was the last push for me to try all of the eyeshadow pencils that I could. So really, that was what I focused on. Nothing but eyeshadow pencils. I talked about the nude sticks in last month's video. The ones I want to mention now, well, first of all, I finally got that eyeshadow stick video out. You can check out my top 5 favorites, as well as reviews of a ton of other sticks that, you know, they weren't my favorite, but were definitely worth mentioning in case you've been curious about them. I will link that. Click the eye up here. What was that? What did I just do? Click the eye up here or go to the description box down below if you want to watch it. I think the one worth mentioning, because it was the most shocking to me, was the Kiko Long Lasting Eyeshadow Stick, specifically in the shade Multi-Chrome Mauve, or number 46 if you're looking for it on the website. The end of it here looks like it's a champagne, and then you actually get it on the back. I'll give you a close-up swatch because this won't do it justice, but you actually get it on your eyes, and it's like this trichrome green, blue, purple sort of situation that is so smoky and beautiful and wearable. It's unreal. So this one I really wanted to mention as a favorite simply because it is so breathtaking and surprising. However, some pencils that I forgot to mention in that video that one of you guys reminded me of were the Linda Hallberg Flash Crayons. I had actually purchased these a while ago, have used them, have loved them, and totally forgot to include them in that video because they're a thinner pencil. I don't think of them as like an eyeshadow stick crayon, but in reality, they're multi-use crayons that are meant to be used as eyeliner, as eyeshadow, as lip liner, lipstick. These are both eye and lip safe, and so they're an incredibly versatile product. It's just because of their size, you know, they're just a thinner pencil. I just did not think to include them in that stick eyeshadow video, so I figured I would include them here today. The kit that I have is the Rustic Kit. As you can imagine, it is inclusive of a ton of beautiful metallic bronzes and golds. They're all shimmery and just so beautiful. So I'm going to use a couple of those shades on my eyes today. Let's first start with Levy Flash, which I actually need to sharpen because I've been loving so much recently. So this shade is like a golden bronze, and I have a video using nude sticks actually where I talk about the way I like to apply eyeshadow crayons, and this is really no different. Basically, I just apply it directly to my lid, and then I make sure that I have a fluffy sort of blending brush on hand This one is the Real Techniques Full Coverage Eye Brush. Again, it's from one of those holiday kits that they sent me that I've made a video of recently. And I just use that to buff and blend it throughout the crease and make sure, you know, if there are any streaks or unevenness across the lid, that I buff and blend that out too. But like, how easy is that, and how gorgeous is this shade? For the outer corner and waterline, I'm going in with this Spar Flash. I think I'm pronouncing that right. Just put a little bit in this outer V and along the waterline before I go in with that same brush and just blend that out. For lashes, I'm going in with my trusty Butter London Stroke of Wow Volumizing Mascara and giving my lashes a few good coats of that, both on the upper and lower lashes. And that is it for the eyes. Super simple, super fast. And for the lips, I have been loving the L'Oreal Ultra Matte Lipstick line. They sent me, I think, all of the new Ultra Matte lipstick shades, so I have a swatch video of all of those, but 3 shades specifically I have really been gravitating towards because they kind of fit all of the looks that I've been wearing lately. The first of which is a classic nude. This is a cooler leaning nude. It is the shade Full Blown Fawn. It leans a little bit on the taupey side, so if you find that taupe nudes don't suit you, you might want to pick another shade from the collection or just another nude in general, but I personally don't mind a cooler taupey leaning nude. I find it adds something to those plummy mauvey looks that I've been wearing lately. However, if I find that a nude doesn't suit one of those plummy looks, I will go in with this Power Petal, which is a true dusty pinky mauve shade. And then if I need something that is a little bit more brown leaning, and probably what I will wear today, I have been absolutely loving Radical Rosewood. And chances are, if you've asked me what's been on my lips in the past month's worth of videos, it's been one of these 3 shades. And what I've really been loving about these shades is how long they last on the lips. They're pretty comfortable, I think, for being a super matte lipstick, and yet without being a stain, they're really long lasting, not totally transfer proof, but I'm continuously surprised when I look, you know, kind of later in the day and I still have these colors on my lips. I do want to say it looks a little less matte right now because I totally forgot to mention that I am wearing my Lana Lips Lemonade Lip Treatment, something else that I mentioned in last month's video with the, you know, drying winter weather. My lips have really been feeling it, especially with all the swatch videos I've been putting out, and so that stuff has just been such a savior for my dry lips. It tastes delicious, it's really affordable, and so that tends to be, when I'm not wearing a lipstick, tends to be my go-to lip vibe. Just a nice balmy, glossy looking default because it moisturizes, it gives the lips a nice balmy looking finish, and generally just tends to be what I apply as I'm putting on my makeup. That way my lips are in good condition no matter what product I'm going to put on them. So yeah, that's what I've been loving. That's actually everything that I've been loving for the month. We have officially made it through the end. Oh, also still loving my same fragrances, my Tom Ford Lost Cherry and my Ombre Leather. Really, really loving those. Besides that, those are my favorites. I would love to hear what products you guys have been loving. As always, let me know in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed this video format. I really wanted to share what I've been loving, give you some updates along the way, but I realized that a lot of these are very similar from previous months, so let me know if you enjoyed this. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye guys!